Alright, for today's video, I want to do something different. We've done tier lists in the past, so I want to do an updated one because a lot of champions have been added since we did the last one. So, yeah, this is going to be for Yasuo. We have 6 tiers, almost impossible, very hard for Yasuo, enemy favored, skill matchup, Yasuo favored, and free matchups. So, I'm going to cover. I don't think I'm going to cover AD carries because, like, it really depends on, like, what support you have, what support they have. So, I'm just going to cover mid and top lane. I think that's fair. Maybe in the future, if you guys want to see, I could do like a bot lane video somehow, like supports included. But for right now, we're just gonna focus on mid and top. Okay, so first we have Aatrox. Um, I just feel like Aatrox kind of outstats you. I don't think it's like the hardest matchup though, because like you can dodge all of his stuff. But early game, like it's definitely gonna be Aatrox favored. I actually did this matchup recently against an academy player. I actually did pretty well, but I mean the early game is still really bad. Like you could dodge all of his sweet spots, and he's still gonna win the trades. So I want to say it's enemy favored just because he's a stronger champion. Like most top laners are just gonna be enemy favored. I don't think it's impossible though, because after you get through the early game, you get like Zeal, and Gucci start beating him. So actually, I'll put him skilled. I think it's a skill. Got to get through the early game. Like just because someone beats you early game, but you beat them later, like that's still a skill matchup. So I'll keep it as skilled. Ari, I want to say it's Yasuo favored. They actually just nerfed Ari's armor and health, I think. They nerfed her health, I think. So she's a lot weaker early game, which if you take lethal tempo on Yasuo, you can take advantage of that. So I think this is one of the matchups where one of Ari's worst matchups. So yeah, definitely Yasuo favored. Like it's always been, you just win wall her charm, and you can kill her. So I don't think it's like a free matchup because if you miss if you miss win wall, she charms you. You can still die. So Akali. I want to say this one's enemy favored just because if the Akali is really good. Like yeah, Yasuo beats her early game for sure, but she just like can play so safe. She has like E, she has her not win wall, stealth. So I think it's like pretty difficult to take advantage of her early game. So I think I'm gonna put her as enemy favorite just because like after that, after she gets 6, she can kill you pretty easily. Put her enemy favorite. Don't think she's like hardest of the hardest, but keep it there. Auction I think is Yasuo favored. It's just a matchup where like you just need to survive early game because he's like gonna poke you. You survive his poke, you get Zeal, Berserkers, and you just like run a trade on him. He can't do anything anymore. So we'll definitely put him as Yasuo favorite. Like Yasuo is a marksman counter, so yeah. Anivia, this one's either skill matchup or Yasuo favored. It's hard to say because like I want to say Yasuo favored because if both people are playing perfectly, and you could just win wall her Q, you could just get on her, and then after you egg her, you kill her egg really fast. Like a lot of champions that like are mages can't kill Anivia after she's egged. So Yasuo is one of the champions that can because you have lethal tempo. You egg her, she's just dead. So basically, you just get onto her, win wall 1Q. She either has the flash or she dies. So if I say Yasuo favored, we're not gonna do junglers. I don't even know why this. That's not even a champion. You have Annie. Annie. I would say it's very hard for Yasuo. Just a champion that's point and click. It's gonna stun you. You win wall her Q, but even if you win wall the Q, it doesn't consume the stun. So a lot of people don't know that actually. I've talked about that on stream. I'm sure like most Yasuo mains know that, but like non-Yasuo mains are like, what the hell? Because like yeah, if you win wall her Q, it doesn't consume the stun. So you can't dodge her stun no matter what. This matchup you either want to take like cleanse or exhaust for her burst and sit on a mantle early. It's just yeah. Brain dead champion, and especially if she's like a Rek'Sai, like Annie Rek'Sai, have fun playing the game. Definitely very, very hard for Yasuo. Not very much skill on her end. Aurelion Soul, Yasuo favorite for sure. I don't think it's free. It's just like the Anivia matchup. It's a little bit easier than the Anivia matchup though, because like if Anivia hits you with Q, you're losing like all of your health. You one shot. Aurelion Soul's not like that, but I don't think he's exactly free. I don't know. I don't see this champion ever. No one plays this champ. I'll put it free. Cause like in my head, it's just like you win well the Q, and it's like can't hit you with W. It's pretty bad. So I'll put it as a free matchup. But again, this could be inaccurate because nobody plays Aurelion Soul. So I gotta keep that in mind. Azir, I'm gonna put her very hard. It's one of the mid matchups I really don't like playing. He just does so much harass. Like this is one of the matchups where you have to go like D shield, second wind, or you just get poked out super hard. It's either that or enemy favored, but mm, mm, eh. I'd rather Azir than Annie, I feel. I'll put it enemy favored. I don't think it's very, very hard. I just think if you get through the early game, you can actually get on top of him and then like actually play it. So put it enemy favored. Guard we skip. Blitz we skip. Brand. I mean, nobody plays this mid lane. Pretty free matchup though. You win all the stun. Just dice full to 0. You just get onto him. Easy. Not much to say about that one. Camille. Either very hard or almost impossible. I feel like out of every top laner, I'd put her a little bit lower, just because like you can like dodge all of her stuff, like dodge her E when she E's onto you, dodge her, or just like space her. So it's like it's still really bad because like she just like has way more base stats than you, and you have to play perfectly. So all the top laners are gonna be really hard on the list because Yasuo is not a top laner. He's just not. So, but I don't think she's the hardest of the hard for top laners. Cassiopeia, I think is actually a skill matchup. I don't see many Cassiopeias. I think she's actually good right now, but no one really plays her. She's pretty difficult to play. But I'd put her like skill matchup. But she has, I think she has one of the lowest base armors in the game, if I'm not mistaken. So if you get onto her early game, you can kill her pretty easily. So she's just really annoying later because like she could build tanky, and if you get stuck in her W, you get ulted. After level 6, it's really hard too, because if you ever dash into her a single time, you're stuck in animation, so you're just gonna get ulted. So, I think if you can take advantage of her early game, you win. If you don't, you switch to skill matchup. Togath, You not see this guy very often. I want to say enemy favor though, because I feel like if you get hit by like all of his stuff, you kind of just die. I think tank Cho'Gath is a lot easier, but I'll put it enemy favorite just because I don't see it very often, and I think like he just can fall to 0 fairly easily with Ignite. Corki, definitely a free matchup. It's like Akshan, but like way easier because the early game of Corki is a lot worse. Only thing that's bad about this matchup is like you can't really kill him. The champion's really safe. Like his W is one of the best escape tools in the game. So just gotta keep that in mind. I feel like if you just freeze the lane against him a single time, he can't play the game though, so definitely no threat of this champion. Darius, I would say, is almost impossible. I think for Yone, it's already hard enough, but Yasuo, you cannot play the game. Like, if you, like, yeah, you can, like, E and dodge his Q, but that doesn't matter, man. If you're Eing into a Darius who is even gold as you, he's just going to kill you. Like, oh wow, I E, dodge his Q, you're just gonna auto W, EU, which, like, stuns you, then auto again, and you're basically dead. You're just gonna ghost, flash, so. Matchup is almost impossible. You have to just play on your side of the turret and wait for ganks. Mundo. Alright, Miss Diana. I'll say she's a skill matchup. I don't find her too hard, as long as you just keep one wall in her Q. Deny her ulti resets. But again, this is a jungle champ for the most part. I don't see her mid very, very often. So, keep that in mind. I do not versus champion, but I would say it's like about even. Wouldn't put her anywhere else, I think. Okay, we got Mundo. Mundo. I feel like this is one of the easier tanks to verse. He has a lot of damage, but would I say Yasuo favored? I feel like he does kind of outstat you though. I don't have too much experience in this matchup, but I'll say it's Yasuo favored. Just because you can win wall, like you should never get hit by his Q, dodge his E when like a minion's about to die, and then just like kite out his W. I don't think he's too bad as far as tanks go. Echo, Yasuo favored. Just he does really well. If the Echo ever like is on your side, you could just run him down very easily because you're always gonna win the fight. It only gets annoying after like level 6 because like if you ever try to ult him and it doesn't kill him, he's just gonna ult back with full HP. So I would just keep in mind of that. Just wait for him to like actually be able to be in kill range, I never ulti him if he can like not die from it. But the early game, very easy for Yasuo. You could just run him down. Okay, what else we got? Skip. Fiora, I would say is almost impossible. This matchup is terrible. I've seen people try to argue with me about this match, but man, if you're against a good Fiora, there's no way you're gonna win as Yasuo. He just outstats you so hard, you know. So I don't think it's very playable. Like, yeah, you can win wall her W so you don't get stunned, but it's really not enough, man. It's really not enough. Like maybe if you get enough ganks, but you're one on one. I don't think Yasuo ever wins. Pretty impossible. Biz, I'm actually gonna put as a skill matchup. A lot of people would say enemy favorite, but I don't think so. Like if you just play it super well, you sit on like a MR early game, he can't really kill you. You just E every time he uses E, and just only go on him when you have your shield. I don't think it's too bad. It only feels really bad because if you fall behind Fizz, you're gonna go 0-10. But same thing with him. So I actually kind of like the matchup. I think it's really fun. Galio, I know this is a skill matchup, but obviously this isn't like a skill matchup. But I just mean it as an even matchup. Like you're never gonna kill Galio, but he's never gonna kill you. So I'm just gonna put it as skill means even. So yeah, boring matchup. Has really good gank setup, but he's never gonna solo kill you. Gangplank, I want to say almost impossible, just because if you're against a really good Gangplank, it's pretty impossible to play the game. Like he's just gonna hide behind his barrels, Q you on reset. Do you ever try to like E onto him to try to hit the barrel? If he's good enough, he's always gonna hit it first. So against a good Gangplank, don't think it's really playable. It's very hard. But most Gangplanks are not good, so makes the matchup definitely winnable. Garen, I would say is very hard for Yasuo. Champion is just very tanky, and if you're ever in his range, he's just gonna Q E you. You can't E away, and you're just gonna take his whole E to the face. He goes Ghost too. Doesn't seem very playable to me. And very low skill champion. Nor, this is like the common, oh, this is where I pick Yasuo, so pretty Yasuo favorite. I don't think it's free, because he could definitely kill you if you mess up. Like, if you have a really bad win wall and he just like, is in mini form and almost big form, he can just chase you down and then like ult you into a wall and then you just die. So definitely a dieable matchup. I think it's Yasuo favorite there for sure. Not free. Not free. Gragas, I would say I don't see solo in Gragas very often, but I would say it's like an even matchup just because he's like so tanky. He's never really gonna kill you, but you're never gonna kill him, so very boring matchup. It's kind of like Galio. He's really good gank setup, a lot of sustain, or Galio doesn't have sustain, but yeah, you're never gonna kill him, he's never gonna kill you. Gwen? Oh, I should do Graves. Graves, I want to say it's like I don't think it's Yasuo favorite. Like, yeah, you can win well his shit, but like he gets so much armor. I would say it's a skill matchup, just because the early game is a bit rough. But after the early game, I think you win pretty hard. So you gotta get through the early game. Hecarim, I'm not gonna do solo lane Hecarim. No one plays that. Wait, didn't I just? Oh, I put Gwen over there. We'll get to her. Heimer, definitely Yasuo favorite, but I'm actually not gonna put him free because if you ever mess up a win wall, you just die full to 0. Like if you don't build MR and he lands a single E on you, he does ult Ws and you literally just explode. So if you mess up one win wall, you are going to die. So you do have to play well slow. It's not completely free because like free matchups are like if you mess up your win wall, you're not gonna die. Maybe against Brand you are, but it's really hard to like get hit by Brand's stun, in my opinion. A lot easier to get hit by his stun. Alawi, I want to say is very hard. I don't think it's impossible. But this champion's just like really annoying. You have to play very perfectly to win. It's like if you get hit by one single E, you're just gonna abuse you super hard. So just make sure you win well every E. When she ults, you just disengage. Wait for jungle because she's really easy to get ganked. But I don't think she's really hard. I don't verse her very often, so like maybe she's enemy favorite instead. But every time I verse it, it's a bit annoying and I don't really enjoy playing against her. Irelia, I want to say I've seen people say it's Yasuo favorite, which is just like, no. Definitely not. This matchup is really hard. Just because you get a win while her stun, think about it. Her stun is a 30-second cooldown, and her stun is like a 12-second cooldown, I think, and your win wall is a 30-second cooldown. So you could just keep doing it. You know, she could do it twice as much as you can. So it doesn't make the matchup any much easier. I would say it's almost impossible. Like this champion just is just better than you. Like it's just better than you. You know, if she has 4 stacks, you can never fight her ever. So I'm gonna put her as almost impossible. I know a lot of people disagree with this because like a lot of Irelias are bad, but if you're against like General Sniper on Irelia, have fun. Like he will never lose to a Yasuo. It's very, very, very bad. Jarvan, not really solo. Jax, I would say is almost impossible. Yeah, like you can maybe beat him early game, but I mean, if you mess up one time, he just gets level 6. I don't think you can even beat him early game. Like his kit just counters you. He has his E, very unplayable. So I would say it's almost impossible. Um, what else do we have? Also, you're gonna like I'm gonna make a Yone version of this too, and you're gonna see that like top laners for Yasuo are gonna be way higher on the list, and then for Yone, the top laners are gonna be a little bit lower, and the impossible matchups for Yone are like more mages. Like mages are really hard for him, like Vex and all that stuff. I mean, Vex is really bad for Yasuo too, but yeah, we'll get to that. Jace, definitely enemy favored. It's either enemy favored or very hard. Um, hmm. I would say if you're against like a really good Jace, very hard. Like champion just kind of abuses you really hard. His stats are a lot better than yours. He goes lethality early game, so it feels really rough if you don't go armor early, which he also doesn't really want to do. So if you're against a really good Jace, it's very hard. But a lot of Jaces are really bad, so you can take advantage of that. I feel like even if you win while his Q, he's still gonna like win melee range. So need some levels before you burst him. Kalista Solely, not really gonna go over. Gwen, I want to say it's enemy favored or skill. I want to say it's enemy favored just because her stats are disgusting. Like when she puts on her W, she's just gonna beat the shit out of you. So, but I don't think she's like these tier of champions where it's like really annoying. So I'll put it enemy favored. You can beat her early game though. I think she goes Conqueror. So you just need to take advantage of her early game because if you just like scale evenly, you're gonna get shit on. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't risk going solo lane very often. I see her jungle usually, and I don't play also top. So Karma, just gonna put skill matchup. Skill as an even. You can't kill Karma. She can't really kill you. If anything, she just has really good gank setup. She's really annoying, but Yasuo has good gank setup too. So perfectly even in my opinion. Just a little bit annoying early game. Arthas, free matchup. Like he has no CC. You can just run him down. I think it's definitely losable if you like get hit by all of his Qs, but if you snowball against him, get Zeal, it's not playable for him anymore. Kassadin, um, I put Yasuo favorite. I don't think it's free because he definitely has a fighting chance. Like if he goes electrocute, he could definitely kill you. So watch out for good aggressive Kassadin players. If they're going like Fleet D Shield, it should be pretty easy. You could just like take advantage of him in early game really hard and just like freeze on him. Katarina, I would say it's free. Can't really lose Katarina in my opinion, unless you just step on every dagger. But Yasuo's kit completely counters Katarina's kit. Very annoying champion though. She will roam a lot, so look out for that. Hale, definitely a free matchup. Or because like, if she snowballs, it can be losable. So I'll put it Yasuo favored, just because like there is potential to losing it snowballed on. Whereas the free matchups should be should be completely free, you know. So, but Hale completely free. Matchup's really easy. The only way you lose this is if you like just sit in her face and just like let her beat the shit out of you with lethal tempo. But a lot of them don't even go lethal tempo. A lot of them go PTA. But yeah, matchup's pretty easy. You just kite her if uses ult. Yeah, fairly easy matchup. Kennen, I want to say it's very hard. I don't think it's impossible because you want to go exhaust against him and you could outscale him. But early game, at level 6, if you don't have MR, it's really rough. He can just full to zero you very easily. Look out for that. Kindred, not gonna put. Nobody really plays it. But either almost impossible or very hard. I don't say it's very hard. This champion's like really annoying and very cheesy. So even if you like put him in small form, it's still gonna be like really rough. So I would say always just look out for this. And if you think you're gonna win, probably aren't gonna win. So look out for that. LeBlanc, um, I want to say very hard. It's not impossible. It's really bad, but it's not like as bad as these ones. There's still a counterplay. Like if you have really good wind walls and play perfectly, wind wall all for ease, try dodge her W when she like W's onto you, which I mean, a good LeBlanc player should never do that, but pick up early MR and you just outscale her. So I think it's very hard, but definitely winnable after a while. Or just I wouldn't even play to fight her or kill her. I would just play to go even. If you're going even, you're winning. So keep that in mind. Lee Sin, when he was meta, I put him as a skill matchup, so I'm just gonna keep him as skilled. I don't think he's as like oppressive as he used to be, so I don't think he's too bad because he should never land Q on you ever. Even if he kicks you, by the way, good tip against Lee Sin. If you think he's gonna kick you, you should wind wall behind you. Because if you wind wall behind you, he's gonna kick you into the wind wall, which means you can't land Q. So whenever you think he's gonna do that, wind wall the opposite way, because then he can't Q through it. Unless he's really good and kicks you and then WC the wind wall and Qs you, I mean then unfortunate, but don't think they're gonna react like that half the time, so keep that tip in mind. Lissandra, see the enemy favorite is skilled. I'll put skilled, it's just like Gallia. She's never gonna like solo kill you, but her gank setup is just really annoying. So just go cleanse gets this matchup if you want, or go some sort of tenacity, just so you can like not get hard CC'd. But after a while, like after you get Zeal, she cannot kill you, fall to 0, and then you just kind of run her down, even if she uses everything. So keep that in mind. Malzahar, free matchup, honestly. I know a lot of people bitch about this matchup, but literally the only annoying thing about it is having to get QSS. Everything else, you one-shot his minions, you can't get hit by his Q, and yeah, the only thing left is E and ult. So very free. Very, very free. Just build QSS, drop the ego. Lulu, I'll put Yasuo favorite just because, like, it's a less annoying Karma. Because Karma is like, if you go on Karma, she's going to snare you and just walk away. Lulu can't do that. If Lulu's overextended, all she can do to save herself is polymorph. But if you win wall that, which you can, she just dies. So definitely a step below Karma. Sure, it's a lot easier. Lux, Yasuo favorite, you just kind of counter her own whole kit. But the thing that's annoying about her, it doesn't make her free, is that she could farm from range very easily. And if she ever does land Q on you, you do like almost die full to 0. So you mess up one time, you'd almost die. It's kind of like Heimer, but yeah, she's kind of annoying. Also, she can like E like behind the wind wall because it's like thick enough. So if she's really good at that, a lot of them don't. Lucian, I'm not gonna put. Nobody plays him solo lane. Malphite, I want to say it's almost impossible. He just builds so much armor, gets really tanky. After a while, if you don't like, if you're not getting solo kills on him early, which you shouldn't, if the Malphite has hands, he's just getting at so much armor and just one shot you, being like a pure tank. So pretty bad. Maokai, on the other hand, is a lot easier. I would say it's Yasuo favored. Not really a top laner anymore. It's kind of just a support. So if you verse the top lane, Maokai, fairly easy to verse actually. Where were we on the list? Kind of like skipping around. Mordekaiser. I guess matchup for Yone, but for Yasuo it sounds pretty bad, honestly. I'll say it's enemy favorite, just because like you have really good gank setup on him, and you could dodge all of his stuff pretty easily. But it's definitely not like LeBlanc tier. So I put him there, and just it's kind of like Malzahar. You have to build QSS early, or you just gotta fall to 0. Drop the ego, build QSS, and it'll be good. I'm not gonna put Morgana. No one really plays her. Nasus, I think it's like I wouldn't put this tier. I put it very, very hard. Like if as soon as he gets enough stacks, you can't play the game anymore. Like there literally comes a time, even if you solo kill him like 3 times, or maybe that's a little too much. Maybe you solo kill him like 1 or 2 times, it doesn't matter. If he's still farming and gets like 300 stacks and it has his like Divine Sender or Tabbies, you can't play the game anymore. Like that's it. Like he is just as soon as he ults, he's just gonna W you, ghost, you're dead, full to 0. So honestly, I'm gonna put almost impossible. Like after he gets 300, 250, 300 stacks, he ults, ghosts, withers, you can't play the game. Even if you're like 2 levels on him, it doesn't matter. You still don't win 1v1. Crazy champion actually, just hard counters you. Nico, they just buffed Nico. I actually don't like this matchup. It's actually really annoying. I honestly want to put it very hard. Like, I don't know if I'm just bad at risking her because no one plays her, but man, just like she just use you, even if like the first part of her Q hits you, you lose half your HP. And if you ever go on her, she just W. So I think it's very hard. Maybe I just need more practice because no one plays her, but man, I do not like risking Nico, so I think it's pretty bad. Nocturne nobody plays that solo lane. Olaf, kind of a stretch. Oriana, I think it's the most even matchup in the game. It's really fun actually. I like it a lot. Can dodge her Q and all that. And when you go on her, you can win wall like the middle of her when she goes for the shield, and she doesn't get her shield. So that's actually a really fun lane. I like it a lot. Honestly, it might even be Yasuo favored, but I'll just put it even. I don't think Oriana's like that good right now. Ornn, I would say is free. You could still die to him if you like treat the matchup like it's like nothing and you just run into every W, but you should never get hit by his W, never get hit by his like E, his ult, so you just counter Ornn. The easiest tank in the game for Yasuo to verse. Very good to him. Poppy, on the other hand, I forgot Pantheon. Pantheon, almost impossible. Like, you can't really play this lane. Although, I would rather be Yasuo into Pantheon than Yone. Just because, like, the shield that you get makes it so he's, like, waste his Q. And, like, when he wastes his Q, maybe you can go on him, but yeah, matchup's pretty rough. You just have to, like, play this scale, build cloth armor early. The early game, not in your hands, so that alone makes it pretty impossible. Poppy, pretty sure it's impossible too. I don't know how you verse that lane. Anytime you use E, just get a W and you get stunned forever. So it's like, just don't level E or something. But best case scenario that you have on beating Poppy is like rushing Bork maybe. But even then, it's like, eh. Very good champion. She is very, very annoying. Also, like, left or right doesn't really matter, by the way. I'm just putting them like, yeah, it's not like in any order. Kiana I actually do not find very hard. I even want to say like it's Yasuo favored. Hmm. I'll put it skill because like if you do mess up one time, kind of like Fizz, you're just getting out one shot over and over again. But every time I verse Kiana's, it's either that Kiana's are bad in North America or something. But I do not find the lane very very hard at all. So it feels like you win wall her ulti and her Qs, goes in for a combo and you just win really hard. You just chase her down. But yeah, Quinn, I want to say it's hmm. I'll say it's Yasuo favored, just because like she's an AD carry. It's gonna be like Akshan, a little bit more annoying because of her E, but yeah, I don't think it should be too bad. But no one plays Quinns. Not too sure about that one. Don't want to say too much on it. Renekton, yeah, like we already know, it's probably the worst matchup in the game. You just can't do anything. Lose. Rengar, Rengar top. Not many people play it, but every time you play it, you cannot win. Like if you go near a bush, she jumps on you, you will get one shot. You need to wait for jungle help. You will not win 1v1. Champion is just a demon. Very, very bad. Riven, I want to say it's almost impossible too. The only it got a little bit better with Lethal Tempo. You could try to cheese her early game with like going in level 3 maybe, but even then, like I don't know if you win. So Riven is really good this patch too. They buffed like Gore Drinker or made it better for her. So I think after like level 6, if you don't get a huge lead on her, lane is pretty much over. So not recommend Yasuo into that. Rumble, don't see him laned too often, but when I do, I don't think it's very good for Yasuo at all. I think it's very hard. You can never go on him when he's overheated. Only thing you could do is try to go on him after he overheats and like can't use abilities. But even then, like he will just he just has better stats than you. His non-stop shields, overheating, his Q, just very hard lane to verse, in my opinion. But he's easily ganked, so that is his weakness. Rise, I want to say it's Yasuo favorite actually, just because you can get on him very easily. After you get like Zeal Berserkers, he can't really play the game anymore because he will just if he ever tries to go like halfway point through the lane, you just win wall and he can't snare you because you win wall the E. Kind of just dies, so not too hard of a lane in my opinion. Only thing that's bad is like he's gonna push you under tower early game, which will allow him to get roams off. So it's he has to like take the initiative early or just loses. Seraphine free, like I don't think I have to explain this one. Can't get hit by any of her abilities, win wall everything. Only thing that's annoying is that you can't really kill her too easily, so yeah, set physically impossible. Doesn't matter how well you play the lane, if the set has fingers, you cannot win. Like even if he doesn't stun you with E, well he can't not stun you with E, because if you ever go in the wave, he's always gonna stun you. So he's just gonna stun you, beat the shit out of you, you lose. Not possible. Um Shen, I think it's pretty hard. I don't say it's impossible, but it's really bad. His Q makes it so you can't auto him into stun. You can't dodge a stun really. You're like really good at eating backwards in time, which it's a good Shen. It's not really gonna work. You can win wall his Q to make it do less damage, but still, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's just pretty bad. And Shen's probably gonna go ignite, and you don't really want to go ignite top lane Yasuo, so pretty bad for him for sure. They're still going this because it's a TFT. It's for TFT too, so. Shyvana we skip. Singed. I don't think it's bad. I would just say skill because you shouldn't ever be able to kill a Singed. Maybe early game you can. But I feel like it's just like a Galio where like he's just gonna proxy, get through his early game and just like kind of ignore you. So I think it's a skill and you just kind of free farm. Maybe it's also favorite, but I don't do the matchup too often, so. Scion. I'll say it's Yasuo or skilled. I'm gonna say Yasuo favor just because like you should never get hit by his Q, which is like all of his damage, and always be able to break his shield before it does damage to him. So I think it's one of the easier tanks there is. I don't think it's like a brain dead easy tank like Orin, but definitely Yasuo has the advantage in my opinion. At least early game with tempo. Queen. Hmm. Either free or Yasuo favored. I'll take Yasuo favored. I'll take Yasuo favored. I don't versus champ ever, but just win while he's stun and you just go on him. Only bad thing about this lane, the reason why it's not free is after level 6, even if he doesn't land his E, he still kind of beats you. Because he's just like draining all of your health. Unless you have anti-heal. You need anti-heal maybe. But yeah, at level 6 you kind of just want to avoid him because that's when he's like in god demon mode. So Silas skill matchup, if not Yasuo favored. Lane is not very hard for Yasuo. It's actually a good. I pick Yasuo into Silas or Yone. Just yeah, after you get Zeal Berserkers, he can't play the game. I would just say it's a skill matchup because the early game is bad. He out sustains you so hard. He goes 3 pots, biscuits, his W. So if you're not like all inning him and you lose out on trades and you're just like playing very like pokey against them, it's not gonna work. So I think he's just gonna snowball on you. So just look out for that. But lane definitely becomes Yasuo favorite. Syndra, enemy favorite. Like early game, it's really bad. It's really bad. You're not gonna beat Syndra early. You just have to like go D shield second wind. Honestly, if you're against a good Syndra, that is. Bad Syndra, it's in skill matchup, but early game is just way too rough. So you need to get through it. Tom Kench, I don't think anyone plays him top lane anymore. I'm not gonna include him because I have no idea what they did to him. Yeah, I will not include him. Talia, it's not been there. I've not seen her in the past like 3 years. Talon, I'm just gonna put skill. I'm just gonna like put it in this category where it's like if you mess up against Talon, you're gonna go 0-10. But if you don't mess up, he's gonna go 0-10, you know? So that makes it a skill matchup. Because level 2, he can cheese you, one-shot you, and your game is pretty much over because he's gonna go Dirk, and you can't play the game anymore. So I put it skill. But like close to Yasuo favorite. Out of all 3 of these, I would say Talon's the easiest. Or Kiana, I'm not really sure. Teemo. Yo, low key, I think Teemo's enemy favorite. Thought this was an easy matchup, but honestly, it's not. Actually, it's not. If he lands Q on you, you can't play the game anymore. So, mess up one windmill, you die. His blind is just way too annoying in the game for Yasuo and Yone. Tristana, it's actually coming back into meta. I'll take the skill lane. She's pretty hard to kill, and her early game is just really good. But after you get through the early game, not behind, you can't just beat her because she's an 80 carry and you're Yasuo. So, yeah. Trundle, I would say it's impossible. Top lane Trundle? Nah, you can't kite him. He's just gonna eat you. Ah, not playable. Tryndamere, I would say is it very hard or enemy favorite? I would say it's very hard. He kind of just like ghosts onto you and W's and you can't play the game. His W, even if you dodge it, like look at him, it still drains like 60 AD or something. So River just kind of beats the shit out of you. Yone, on the other hand, very good. So, but yeah, Yasuo, no, does not do well. TF, free. One of the best counter picks in the game. Like Yasuo, TF, you counter his whole kit, you know? He doesn't have an ult either. Urgot, I would say it's very hard. If he ever lands E, you die full to 0, so always need to dodge that, but I mean, you can still win. It's not impossible, for sure. Either that or enemy favorite. I don't risk Urgot too much, but yeah, he's very annoying in my opinion. And always look out for his like E flash. Like oh, I'm full. You could be full health. If he E flashes and lands it, he just guarantees hitting ult on you, then goes around you, you just die. So always be on the lookout for that. If he's Eing while not next to you, he's probably gonna flash. So try to react to that. Vayne solo lane. I guess we could play. People play it quite a bit. I think it's a skill. It's annoying early game, but after you get onto her with some levels and you're not behind, pretty easy. It's like Tristana. A little bit more mobile. Veigar, Yasuo favored, not free, just because his cage is really annoying late game and for gank. So that's the only reason he's not in the free, just because his cage is so annoying. Vel'Koz, I would say it's free. Kind of just counter his kit really. Can't really die to him unless you get hit by like W into ults. Can't win World's ult, but you never die to Vel'Koz. Just freeze it easy. Vex, I want to say is. Vex is pretty much Annie, so I'm gonna put it the Annie tier. I think. I don't think it's. I don't think it's impossible. Like these ones are way harder. So only reason I kind of like Yasuo more into Yasuo into Vex more than Yone. You'll win while her ulti later, so that. But obviously, still a really really hard lane. Viego doesn't solo lane. I'm not gonna put it. Victor. I want to say it's like skill, just like Orianna. Just like Orianna, you just kind of get abused early game, but then he's not mobile at all. You go on him, he W's, and you go back out, and then when he doesn't have W, you go on him. Full 0 him, kill him. So I play the matchup. It's not too bad. Vladimir, don't see him very often, but I think it's Yasuo favored. I think the matchup's actually pretty easy. If you go Ignite, and he can't play the game early game against you. If you go even against him, and he goes Electrocute Ignite, he could full to 0 you. You don't go on Mantle, so just look out for that, but you should be able to abuse him really hard early. Warwick is just cheese. I'm not putting him. Volibear, it's impossible. It's like Renekton tier, for sure. But he doesn't scale nearly as hard as Renekton, in my opinion, but still not possible. You can't beat that lane. Wukong, another one. Wukong, I do not think he could win. He's basically just Bruiser Malphite, so have fun against that. I know Xerath. Putting Vel'Koz here. Actually, I'm gonna put Xerath one more higher than Vel'Koz, just because you can't win while his Q, W, and his ult. So you can't win while like anything except for Z. Vel'Koz, you can win while everything except for ult. The 3 spells you can win while versus 1, and he has more range. So I would say Xerath is a little bit harder. Yasuo versus Yasuo. Obviously, we're not doing that. Yone, I want to say it's skill matchup. Actually, no, it's Yasuo favorite. Definitely Yasuo favored. You just can win while his third Q. You have your shield, so you want to go in with your shield, and yeah, you could just get on him, and he can't really dodge your third Q. Because the reason he can't dodge third Q is because you just go on him super fast, and he can't really E it. You just go too fast. And if he does use E, then it's like walk away, E back, and if he has third Q, just win wall it, you know. But I used to put it skill matchup, but it's definitely Yasuo favorite lethal tempo. Yorick, I do not see the Shep ever. I'm not kidding. Unfortunately. Oh, you know, I'll put him. I see him very rarely, but I think it is Yorick favored. A little bit. Zed, I don't think it's impossible tier. I think it's just really hard. I don't like versus Mischamp, personally. Maybe it's just my mental blocking at Zed, but it feels like he's easier, doesn't even land Q, and it's can almost full to 0 you. I think if you play it smart and go Cloth Armor Exhaust, maybe it goes down to here, but I don't know. My mental block champ. I don't like Zed. I'll be honest about it. Ziggs, pretty free lane. Eh, I think it could be annoying early game. And then his satchel makes it so like he has mobility. So it's definitely not free because anytime you go on him, his satchel's away. So not the freest. Zillion, very free, just win all his bombs. Zyra, he plays a soul lane. I think it's terrible. If you're versing Zyra, she should go 0-10 for sure. If it ever goes to like your side of the lane, just freeze it. She can't do anything. So, and you like one-shot her plants, I think. Okay, last one, Zoe. Zoe, I want to say it's enemy favored or it's skill. I just feel like her early game is so annoying, and if you get hit by one bubble, you just die. Like literally just die. But I don't know. It's hard to say. I really hate Zoe. I'll put a skill though, I think, because if you win wall her bubble, she shouldn't be able to like play the game with you, and you just full to zero her. So yeah, yeah. This is the whole tier list. I think we covered almost every champion. The rest are like junglers or like really, really, really like nobody plays solo in Viego. So yeah, this is it. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to say it in the comments. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, tell us like other videos that you want to see, like bot lane.